was supposed to be a research-based video, but then my research led me to a dead end, and then I shattered my glasses. So we're doing this instead. So earlier this week or last week or at some point, I was hanging out with Teching and Jay, and they brought up the 4Kids dub, as you do in any One Piece conversation. And so when I was first starting One Piece, when I was a wee lad in the One Piece world, some of my patrons showed me some of the 4Kids dub clips, and it was horrible. I was scarred. But with the video I was planning on doing falling through today, and with hanging out with them the other day talking about it, I thought, you know what, maybe now is my time. Maybe now is my time to sit down and actually watch some of this show, and oh my goodness. So just so you know, if you found me through this video, I'm not a reaction channel and I'm not an anime channel. I primarily talk about chapters week to week and current events in One Piece. So if that's not your jam, I wouldn't recommend subscribing, but I do hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna mix in some of my own thoughts on the dub, my thoughts on it overall, as well as showing some of my reactions to the dub as I watched it as kind of a happy medium between the kind of content I typically make and the kind of content you probably want for this sort of thing. So let's talk about the One Piece 4Kids dub. Oh, also these are prescription sunglasses, so this is the only way I can read the notes that I have on my phone. So I'm sorry, but this is what I'm working with.
Yo! Sanji's cooking, Chopper's doctoring.
So expectations first, because I went into this knowing that it was genuinely terrible, and it was true, and expecting to just pick it apart. But in fact, what happened was I started off being horrified, and then slowly I think I developed Stockholm Syndrome, and I kind of love it. So first I want to talk about the censorship, because I think that this is a huge downfall of this live action. Some of it's funny, you know, Sanji carries a lollipop instead of a cigarette. Every adult in this series is drinking grape juice instead of wine. Helmeppo is threatening Kobe with something that is the equivalent of Helmeppo's personality of thinking that he's hot stuff, but actually having no power and no one respecting him. I actually liked that change a lot. But then there were really huge changes that actually alter the plot and mess with the entire story. Things that I can understand why One Piece would need to be censored if our target demographic is like 5 to 10-year-olds, because One Piece gets real dark real quick in some places. But the problem is that a big part of what makes One Piece so special is the absurdist, childlike, silly vibe that couples with real serious issues, real emotional weight that takes a toll on the viewer or reader and makes us feel so close to the story, to the characters, to their individual backstories and struggles, and what makes them who they are and what bonds them as a Nakama. So while some of the censorship does make sense if the audience is as young as it comes off, like it's meant for real young kids, the censorship makes sense, but at the same time it also completely alters what makes the story special. It's now just a Sunday cartoon instead of one of the greatest stories of all time. So Nami doesn't stab her hand to save Usopp, Belle-Mère is locked up in a dungeon somewhere, Laboon is an iceberg, and we just move on, missing huge chunks of the plot that inform what makes the characters who they are, what kind of sacrifices they make for one another, what builds up the kind of characters that they choose to be, and potentially hinders entire plot points. Like, how is Brook joining our crew if Laboon isn't even present? Like, what does he do? Does Luffy say, hey, do you poop? And Brook is like, no. Yes, I'll join your crew. I like that question. Good job. I don't need any sort of emotional connection to you whatsoever. I don't care about you knowing any sort of long-lost friend that is tied to my trauma. Also, how would they handle Brook's entire story? Wait, would they have cut Brook's backstory completely? Because characters aren't allowed to die in this series, apparently, which is hilarious because even Disney will kill off the parents, but like Belle-Mère, she can't die. Oda doesn't even kill that many characters, but the few that he did, One Piece 4Kids dub was like, that's too much, sir. You're going too far. This is the censorship. Honestly, I kind of like this better. No, okay, but actually, hear me out though. Helmeppo isn't even actually that intimidating in this one. He is at this point in the series, he is a spoiled brat where his bark is too big for his bite. His dad doesn't even respect him, like nothing. So him carrying a tool that looks like the most non-threatening thing ever, and Kobe's just looking at him like, Okay, this kind of just adds to the lore of Helmeppo being like, I'm a big deal. Look at this weapon my dad gave me. This matters. I'm gonna hurt you. Okay, next up, action. I actually love this. Here's the thing. They changed everything action-wise. They changed so much that it caused me pain sometimes for the few action scenes that I saw, but also it was kind of endearing. Like, I felt like I was watching Power Rangers. No insult to Power Rangers, don't take that the wrong way. I say that in the most endearing way possible, but like a cheesy show that I used to think was the coolest thing ever. It took what is emotionally grounded, intense action that caused characters to stand up and fight for one another, that caused characters to risk their own lives to save each other. That was bloody, that was brutal, and it turned it into, you know, a cartoon. And I mean, in the sense that you've insulted my favorite series, but I have enough content that I don't have to take it too personally, so I can laugh with you and at you. I mean, you know. Okay, I just finished the Usopp versus Chu fight in Arlong Park, and okay, it's bad. It's bad. They changed so much. The whole fight structure was completely different. But also, I'm not gonna pretend like I wouldn't have watched this cartoon as a kid. Like, I watched some really bad stuff. Terrible. This is like so cheesy. Usopp's voice, oh no, you've fallen into my trap. It's as bad as Luffy's. And the cheesiness of it, the emotional impact that comes with Usopp, who is a coward and who is laying on the ground thinking to himself, what lie am I gonna make up? How am I going to justify me basically cowarding out of this fight? And then choosing, you know what, no, actually I am gonna stand up and I'm gonna fight and I'm going to be a brave pirate, and making that choice even though he had the catch up, even though he could have done, like, all of the emotional weight that comes with this battle, fighting someone who is so tough, who can take so many hits and take no damage. Usopp is so heavily outmatched, and he has the opportunity to just play dead and then go back and lie, and that's who he would have been. But because now he has his nakama, and because now he's fighting for his dream to be a brave warrior, he stands up and he fights even though there's no chance for him. So like, all the emotional weight is gone, but also like, this is a great cartoon fight. Like, this is entertaining, it's hilarious, it's absurd, and I would have watched this when I was 10. I would have watched this when I was 10, and I would have been all about it. I would have been like, yeah, he beat the fish guy with the big lips. I'm kind of reacting that way right now, actually. I'm probably gonna show this fight to my kids. They're probably gonna think it's cool. Speaking of emotional weight, assuming Editing Murphy plays the clip that I think I'm gonna play before this. We've already talked about it, so I won't harp on it too much, but what I saw, and I didn't watch every single episode, I just watched until my eyes started to hurt because of the issues I'm having with my glasses. One thing that One Piece does on a level that very few series seem to be able to capture is being able to balance the emotion, the high, deep emotions, the incredible trauma that's depicted on page and on screen, balancing that with the lighthearted, goofy nature, with the friendship, with the love, with the adventure. Balancing these very extremely different tones is really, really hard to accomplish on the level that Oda has accomplished. And the 4Kids dub really did a great job of bragging on Oda by displaying how easy it is to mess all that up. There were puns and jokes that were thrown in that did not balance things, but instead kind of interrupted tension, and then naturally the constant censoring of more intense details also never let it go very deep. So it took what is, in my opinion, a masterpiece of a series, and it dwindled it down to its most basic parts to make it recognizable, but not cohesive and not with any sort of depth. It's the epitome of a bad adaptation. But it's funny. I laughed a lot, which comes to my final point, which is my favorite aspect of this adaptation, which is the voice acting. I'll just let Reaction Murphy speak for that because, oh boy, did I have fun.
No, it's not.
Oh no, I hate the Luffy voice. Why does he sound like that though? Like, I've watched the dub of One Piece and I don't think it's bad, but why does Luffy sound like this? Even though I've seen it before, even though I've seen it, I've heard it before, and I know how much I hated it before. Nothing can prepare you. Oh no, wait, it's over? Best grape juice. I can't do it. I can't, it's too good. It's too good. I mean, it's terrible. I hate it. Even the delivery of Luffy's voice is cracking me up. You and your navy are ruining Kobe's lifelong dream. It's like there's no passion there. Vivi's voice actor is just as good as the rest, and by that I mean just as bad. It's the swordsman. Voice acting is an amazing craft, and being able to voice act to something that's dubbed, to something that's not, this isn't even your original language, and the pacing, the cadence is all wrong. Like, that really does take some skill. And I just really, really appreciate that they cast a ton of actors that like deliver their lines so flat, because it makes this so much more fun to watch. Whoa, close call. I've decided what it is. I just listened to Luffy say, "Wow, you're really good at this." It sounds like, the way he delivers his lines sounds like what an adult is like pandering to children, you know, like, "Oh, good job, buddy." Like, that's how it comes off. And that makes me like it even more. Because I feel like it watches. I'm trying to say it reads, but that's not watching. It watches like it's written for children. Like in the way when you're 10 and someone's still talking to you like you're 4, and you're like, you don't have to use that voice. I promise. We just say what you want to say. Like, that's how Luffy talks, and I love it. It makes me want to watch it more. Okay, Luffy just said, "Know something? I really like you. Want to be our friend and join our crew?" This is one of those shows that's like, "Kids, we're going on an adventure today. Want to be my friend and come along?" Sorry for the kids playing in the background. I think they're digging for treasure.
What? All I did was call it gorgeous.
Do you like his voice?
Oh my gosh. It's horrible.
Or amazing. Honestly, I just spent the rest of that recording from yesterday looking up more Sanji clips. Because it is bad. I stand by my opinion that this accent is horrible for Sanji. Does not fit him, does not depict him well at all. But also, I couldn't stop. So in conclusion, the One Piece 4Kids dub was a great way to spend my day when I was otherwise having a not so good day because of the glasses shattering and the research thing. I'm on the beach, I'm fine. But it was so fun. It was so fun. While this is quite possibly one of the worst adaptations ever, because it didn't get the characters right, it didn't get what makes the characters special and unique and what makes us endeared to them right, it didn't get the action or the fact that the action in the series isn't just kick, punch, kids like action, here's some action, but it actually was tied into the themes and into the weight of what was happening in the series. Completely missed all of that. It totally missed the balancing of many different emotional highs and lows that the series does. It missed the core of what One Piece is. It did a really good job of being recognizable as One Piece, and everything else, you know, didn't work. But with all that said, it did succeed in being one of the series that is so bad that it ends up being good. It ended up being something that if I had in real life One Piece friends, which I don't, which is why I talk about it online. If I had in real life One Piece friends, this would be something that we would turn on in the background when we're all just chilling together and just have playing, and then when our favorite scenes come on, we would all stop and watch it together and then laugh and then continue on with our day. It would be like a staple. It would be like a bad movie night. We need our spirits raised. What can we do? Let's turn on the 4Kids dub. I can't imagine being a One Piece fan and being told you're getting an adaptation and then this is what you're given. Like, I honestly can't imagine. But that didn't happen to me. I got the benefit of falling in love with this series to the point that it's become a personality trait of mine, and then I get to watch this atrocity after enjoying all the goodness, knowing that this is not the representation of my series. This is just a hilarious thing that we get to laugh at, and I had a great time doing it. Again, this is not the type of content that I typically do, so if you enjoyed this, I'm sorry. Probably not the channel for you. And if you didn't enjoy it, no worries, I'll be back to my regular content. It just, a series of unfortunate events led me here, and honestly, I'm not mad about it. I had a really good time. But I would love to hear your thoughts on the 4Kids dub. What was your experience of it? Is this what led you into One Piece? Was this your gateway to One Piece? Or did you love the series already when it came when it came into being? What are your thoughts on it? I would love to hear. Oh, I forgot. I'm wearing my sunglasses. It's just easier, you know? Anyway, what are your thoughts on it? I would love to hear. I would love to chat with you more in the comments. I'll see you again soon. Bye.